Okay, Algebra 2, today should be the 27th. We're on Unit 6, lessons 1, 2, 3, 4, actually 5 also. 5. All right, so what is this about? Mostly factoring. A lot of factoring going on here. So we'll talk as we try these problems. So problem 1. We got one factor is 2x plus 3. What is the other factor? So I mean, we got this 12x squared plus 8x minus 15. Got to unfoil it, but it's not that hard because they gave me half the answer. 2x plus 3 is right there. That's one of the factors. So what times 2 is going to give me 12. I need a 6x here. And 3 times what is going to give me 15. I need a 5, but be careful. I need a negative 5. And then you can see the outer and the inner. What do I get? 18x, negative 10x. That adds up to 8x. So that's what I want, 8x there. So this is the other factor. So that's what I was looking for, the other factor. All right, much tougher problem, which is not a factor, not a factor. All right, so this is a third degree equation. So how do you handle this? You don't unfoil it. This is more complicated. We got a group. It's called the grouping method. I don't like that negative sign there. I'm going to make that a plus negative 3. What can I take out of here? What's the greatest common factor? 4x squared I could take out. What would I be left with? 3x minus 2. I want this to be 3x minus 2 also. It's almost 3x minus 2. It's negative and positive. So if I took out the negative 1, I'd get 3x minus 2. So another name for this is called common binomial. There it is. Factor that out. 3x minus 2. What am I left with? 4x squared minus 1. That's a DOPS. So you're supposed to recognize that and say, hey, that's 2x plus 1, 2x minus 1. So we just factored this. All right, so I see this one. That's there. I got the 2x minus 1 and 2x plus 1. I don't have that one. So this is the one that's not there. That's the one I want, which is not a factor. These are all factors. Okay, that was a tough one. Number 3. All right, we got a quadratic, a parabola, shown below. Where's the x-intercept? Now this one looks really simple because you're like, oh, there's the x-intercept. I hope you would say it right there, right there. There's the x-intercept. So I'm looking for negative 6. That's not one of the answers, though. So then you got to think a little bit harder and you go, wait a minute, there's the vertex point. Why? Because it's repeating here. So if you kept on going with this table, what are we going by? Looks like not going in. This was up 2, this was down 2, right? So here's the middle. 2 is the middle. Now I'm going to negative 6. What is that? 8 places back? Back 8 places? Yeah. So I got to go forward 8 places. So if I put 10 in my table, I'd get 0 out because it has to have that symmetry. That's a tough little question there. So the answer is 10. Tricky, very tricky. All right, this next one. You're supposed to recognize this. It's been a while though. This is what they called the vertex form. So if I say, hey, where's the vertex point? You should be able to look at this and say, I know where it is because parentheses lie. So it's 6, and that's not lying. That's 17. There's the vertex point. All right, so because it's negative, I know it's a downward parabola. Downward parabola. And the highest point, the max, is right there. Over 6 up 17. So if I was trying to draw this, which I'm not, I'd have to go over 6 places up 17. And that's what the parabola would look like. So when is it decreasing? Decreasing. So that's when it's going down on this side. So when is it decreasing? After I hit 6. After 6. So when x is bigger than 6, it's decreasing, it's going down. All right, there's got to be easier ones. Here we go. This can be simplified as x plus 3 and what other binomial? You see the x plus 3? There it is. It's already there. It's common binomial. So if you took that x plus 3 out, what are you left with? I got these two things. Let me put them in square brackets. 2x minus 1. I got a minus sign, be careful, and I've got x minus 7. Simplify this. So Be careful with that negative sign. You might want to do the little state change opposite. Change, opposite, opposite. So 2x take away 1x gives me x, negative 1 plus 7 gives me 6. So there's the other binomial. So which one is the other binomial? Choice 3. Some tough multiple choice. Let's see, maybe the back is a little easier. All right, so like I said, it's mostly factoring, and there's 4 types of factoring. What are they? There's the greatest common factor. We saw a little bit of that. There's DOPS, difference of perfect squares. There's just unfoiling. And then this one, you could call it grouping or common binomial. Got a couple different names. All right, so factor each of the following and go in this order. So do I have a GCF? No, I don't see a GCF. It's not a DOPS. DOPS have 2 terms. It's an unfoiling problem, and this one's not too bad because it has to be x and x. 32 has some factors. I don't know. I could sit here and write them all out. 1 times 32, 2 times 16. 3 doesn't go in. 4 does. 4 times 8. 5 doesn't. 6, nope. 7, nope. 8, there's the factors. Which one might give me 14? Looks like this one. 2 and 16. 16, actually I want negative 16 and positive 2. That's it, just factor it, I'm done. That's factored, can't go any further. It says completely factor means go as far as you can. Like on this one here, you might say it's a DOPS, and it is a DOPS, but first look for the GCF. You could take a 4 out and get x squared minus 25, and then you say, wait, it's still a DOPS. I can break this up into x times x gives me x squared, and I want 5 times 5 to give me 25, and make 1 a plus, and make 1 a minus, and now it's completely factored. Here's another example, completely factored. They all have a. Take that a out of there. So I get 10x squared minus 23x minus 5. That's a trinomial. Trinomials, that's another name for this one up here, trinomial. Trinomials, we try to unfoil those. So what gives me 10? Could be 5 and 2. That would be my best first guess anyway. Could be 10 and 1, but I think it's 5 and 2. There's only one way of getting 5. I would not bother putting a 5 here. Remember that trick? Because that would give you a greatest common factor. So if it's going to work, 5's got to go there, 1's got to go there. The outer's 25, the inner's 2. See that? 25 is the outer, 2 is the inner. I want negative 23. So I want negative 25, positive 2. And now it's completely factored. All right, trinomial. So I'm going to try to unfoil it. It could be 4 times 1, could be 2 times 2. 9, 1 times 9, 3 times 3. See, because the number's in the middle is kind of large, I'm going to go with the 1, 9. I think I see the answer right there. I mean, you should try this on your own, but I'm going to just jump. I think this is the answer, because 4 times 9 is 36. That's close. And the inner's 1. I want to get negative 37. So I need to make them both negative. Both negative. And there it is. Completely factored. So it wasn't this one. It's the 4, 1 option. Factor the following. Show your work. All right. So again, this is not a. I mean, you should look for a GCF, but there's nothing there. It's definitely not a DOPS, or it's not a trinomial. So I got to do the grouping method. So it's the one students need usually a lot of review on. Group the first 2. Careful with that. Group the second 2. So I got 2x squared cubed minus x squared plus, I'm going to make that negative 8x plus 4. What do these have in common? X squared. I'm left with 2x minus, something's got to be there, 1. Because I got to be able to distribute and get it back. So what am I going to take out here? I want it to be 2x minus 1. I'm going to take out a 4, but if you're going to make it match, which is what you want, you're going to take out a negative 4. Take out negative 4, and you're left with positive 2x minus 1. So now, factor this out. What are you left with? X squared minus 4. Oh, wait a minute. That's my DOPS. So final answer. 2x minus 1, x plus 2, and x minus 2. completely factored now. Okay. This is basically the same question. So I mean, pause the video, you try it on your own, and then kind of watch me go ahead and do it then afterwards, but same thing. So group the first two. I don't like the negative sign. I'm going to make that plus negative 3x minus 5. What can I get out of here? I could take 4 and x squared out. What am I left with? 3x plus 5. Well, this is almost the same thing. If I pull out the negative 1, it will be 3x plus 5. There's my common binomial. Pull that out. What am I left with? 4x squared minus 1. That's another DOPS. That breaks up into 2x plus 1. I think this is the same one we saw on the front side. And now we have it completely factored. Okay, we're not setting it equal to 0. We're not solving. That'll be on the next review. All right, so your independent work, very similar, extremely similar. So if you get stuck on any of these, just go back, watch the video. You get stuck on 7, go back and watch number 7. So it's pretty simple. And you should have no trouble getting through this. All right, be safe.